Thank you. Steve J.
First off, I want to thank Mark for putting me after James. I mean, I'm not that inspiring. I don't know. James is pretty inspiring, I tell you. What a great speech. But first off, I'm Steve Champion. I'm your county commissioner, sitting county commissioner right now, running for re-election in 2 months. So I'm your conservative, pro-Second Amendment candidate, and I must be doing a good job because the liberals are totally trashing me online. I don't know if you guys have seen it. All lies, all BS. I tell you, if you want more details, I'd be happy to give you more information. But first, before I go into local politics and talk about what's going on in Hernando County, I think the speakers that came before me, I mean, they were great speakers. And we got some great candidates that are. You see the people that are here that support the Second Amendment, so we definitely need to support them. And one commitment I'll make, and I actually put this on Facebook as a commissioner, because you know the commission determines the sheriff's budget, law enforcement's budget. We determine how much they get. We determine how many deputies they have, et cetera, et cetera. And I already made a commitment. I will never vote to defund our police officers for sure. So, and in Hernando County and the elected officials that we have, there's no way, and I can't speak for them, but I would be willing to bet everything that they would do the same thing. So luckily we have a great community here that respects law enforcement. I tell you, the stuff that's going on in the country, I mean, it's a shame. I can't even believe. I know we got a couple law enforcement officers here, Highway Patrol, we have some retired. Obviously we have Major James Terry that's running for sheriff and is going to win for sure. So we have a lot of great experience here in law enforcement, and we respect these guys, and you know what, it's absolutely necessary to have that. All right, so before I get into other local stuff, in James Cavetta, I can't even begin to explain it the way he did, but all of this is what's going on is a big sham. This is all a sham, and I tell you, you know what was pleasant today? Is walking around and shaking hands. That's the first time I shook hands, and I don't know, it must be what, 3 months now? Everybody's afraid, they're not shaking any hands. I think I shook almost everybody's hand here, and I didn't see anybody sick, so that's a good thing. So I still encourage you to wash your hands though afterwards. So, but anyway, so this whole thing's a sham. You know, it's meant to bring the economy down. It's meant to bring unemployment up because Trump has so many positives going for him. And then it's meant to keep him out of the rallies. It's meant to keep us from campaigning, even locally. You know, this is the first any kind of get-together we've had in 3 months. There's no Republican meetings happening. There's no get-togethers and homeowner associations. There's no talking about candidates. So where is the people getting their information from? They're getting it from A News 9? Are they getting it from MSNBC? Where are they getting their news? I mean, and no offense, I know we only have Fox News, but they haven't exactly been conservative lately. I mean, it's heading the wrong direction. So it's our job to make sure that we're educating the people out there about what's really going on. And God help us all, if Donald Trump doesn't win my race or the sheriff's race or whatever's going on in the county, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We have to have him in office. So we got to rally the troops and make sure that Donald Trump is reelected in 2020, which I believe he's going to win in a landslide. You can clap for that. So what's going on locally, right? So a lot of people think, they go, the local races, you know, we have our primary coming up August 18th. And I know I'm not supposed to talk about politics too much, but it directly affects the Second Amendment. And I know that's what we're here to talk about. But local politicians, and if you look around the country, there's mayors and commissioners and you know, these mayors determine the budget of the police too. So where do you think this defund the police department's coming from? Defund cops. It's coming from these local races because people aren't paying attention. In Hernando County, it's important to pay attention to get conservatives that do the right thing in office. That's why do your homework, talk to people. Just because they have an R by their name, by the way, and I'm gonna just say this. There's a commissioner running right now that changed parties from Democrat to Republican in District 1. It's not Joe, by the way. Joe's been a Republican forever. But he changed from Democrat to Republican, and they know they can't win in Hernando County with a D by their name. So they're phony. You've got to do your research. You've got to find out what they stand for. And do your research. Because they have the R doesn't mean you need to vote for them. But anyway, getting back to that, these people determine your taxes. They determine your law enforcement budget. They determine ordinances and regulations. And over the past 4 years, I don't know if you guys have been following me in Hernando County, but one of the first things I did, we had a rule in place that didn't allow firefighters, utility workers, etc. to carry a gun on the job, even if you had a permit. So if you have a concealed permit, you would risk losing your job if you carry it on the job. For example, firefighters. We've had several firefighters that were fired at. They show up at the scene, they're the first ones there. There's somebody that wants to commit suicide by cops, and they burn their house down. Here comes the firefighters. They show up first, and they're firing on them, and they have no way to even defend themselves. Long story short, we passed that with a 5-0 vote, and Hernando County is one of 3 counties in the entire state that every county employee can carry on the job if it's not a prohibited place. And I know I own a gun store, and a lot of the liberals out there think, well, I'm biased and I just want to build business. I got news for you. Business was good before I was in office. We didn't have a problem selling guns. We still sell guns. So I ran for office because I wanted to do the right thing for Hernando County. And Scavetta talked about it a little bit about how many years he's been here. My family's 5 generations back from Brooksville. And I'm a mixture. I'm actually the product of Spring Hill. And back in the day, nobody wanted to be in Spring Hill. It was sand. You can't grow anything. And when Spring Hill was first developed, they would put these models up in New York and Connecticut and New Jersey, and $7,000 you could buy a new house in Spring Hill. Well, my mother's side was from Connecticut, my dad's side, 4 generations from Brooksville, so Spring Hill made me. So I was actually a product of everything here in this local area, and I love this county, and that's why I ran for office. That's why I continue to ask for this punishment, because it really is punishment. I mean, I get punished all the time. I don't know if you guys see it. A lot of you guys are sticking up for me. I really appreciate that. But they call me everything under the sun. James talked about it as well. They had this downtown protest, they were going to call it, I know some folks here from Tampa that saw what happened to your city. And they were threatening. There was legitimate threats. We're going to burn down your courthouse. We're going to burn down a tree, by the way, that was a sapling. There was somebody hung from that tree. That was a sapling back in the day. That was a totally different area. The original courthouse burned down. This is a new courthouse that was built. But anyway, so there was all this misinformation, but they were threatening to come to our county and destroy it. So the people that put this page together, Defend Hernando County, they weren't, right at the top it said, there's no violence going to be accepted. There's no racial comments going to be accepted. You're going to be blocked, you're going to be deleted, whatever, if you put it on there. So a lot of us joined. We had like 3,000 of us. Well, 3 days later, some liberal blog got out there, and they attacked me and Joe Swilley and said, we're part of that group because one person or 2 people made a comment that was racial. And then, this is how far these liberals go. So when I had to go defend myself, and I told a few of the supporters here today, I was like, I'm not racist. I'm on the page. That doesn't mean I agree with what everybody says. But then I also told them that my kids are biracial. My kids are, my wife is Puerto Rican. My kids are Hispanic, right? So, you don't get a pass because your kids are Hispanic. Really? I mean, that's how low it is. I mean, it's really low out there, I tell you. So that's what I mean about they've been attacking me left and right. So. Getting back to the county, one last thing, a second thing I've done in 4 years as your county commissioner. Recently we have a declaration we made Hernando County a Second Amendment sanctuary. I don't know if you saw that, but that was another thing that was passed. And I have copies of that too, James, I have some extra copies. We should have brought those today, I didn't even think about it, but I have the original documents, and if anybody wants any, I have like 30 or so at the shop. But I think overall we've got the right people in Hernando County that want to do the right thing. And James touched on pretty much everything, I believe, about defending our, I have to get a little more direct. I guess I got to be a little more polished somewhat, but hey, I applied for it, brother. I'm glad he's on my side, by the way. So, thanks, James. But anyway, so you got some choices to make in August, and I know this wasn't supposed to be about campaigns, and it's not even about mine, August and November, but we've got to get Donald Trump back in there. There's no doubt about it. He has to be reelected. And then pay attention to the local races. It does make a difference for your Second Amendment. And those that don't believe that I'm a real conservative, when I first ran, my sign said conservative business owner. My new sign says no new taxes, because that 18.4% increase Mark Hoffman talked about, he talked about 14%, it was 18.4. I did not vote for it. If we get Joe Swilley or a third vote, we already committed to bringing it back, to pulling it all back, because there's no reason to have that kind of increase in the county. You can clap for that, by the way. So anyway, thanks for the last thing. You can see I took off my campaign shirt and I put on my American Gun Upon shirt, because right on my front of my shirt is the Constitution. That's how much we believe in it, right? And also we have shirts that we have Blue Line, that support police officers, because we've always been a supporter of law enforcement. And last thing, when they challenge me and they say, hey, you're not a real conservative, I never had a tattoo in my life. I know it's going to be crazy. There's a lot of bikers on here. I think you guys got a few tattoos. So when I turned 40, when I got my 40s, I said, hey, I think I need a tattoo, but what kind of tattoo would I get, right? So I spent 17 hours on this tattoo, and I just finished it yesterday. So I'm going to unveil it to you guys, and guess what? It's the Constitution with the flag around it. So I can die with that on my skin. I don't have a problem with that. 'Cause I believe the Constitution. I believe in this country. I believe in this county. And anyway, thanks for having me. I appreciate your vote in August and November. And remember, let's bring Donald Trump back in and get him reelected so we can save our country, make America great again. Thank you very much.